say that Brooklyn is where New York City begins. But we can also say it's where New York State begins. I know our governor doesn't mind that because it's where he was born and grew up. New York State's top public official and Brooklyn's native, Governor David Paterson.
Thank you. I don't know the date, but it was one night in 2003 when they had breaking news on the 11 o'clock news, when they had Borough President Marty Markowitz announcing that there would be this great project in Brooklyn, and that we would be here on this historic day. Thank you, Borough President Markowitz. And thank you so much, Reverend Daughtry. I thought I was at my own funeral for a moment, but as Mark Twain once said, rumors of my death are grossly exaggerated. I'd also like to thank Mayor Bloomberg and all of my colleagues in government for all the work that they did on this project today, and I would like to thank Bruce Ratner and all of his partners for all they've done to develop this site. As we break ground here in the Barclays Center, we break open new opportunities for a whole new generation of New Yorkers. For this project at Atlantic Yards will yield 16,000 union construction jobs and 6,500 permanent jobs right here on the site. With the continuing economic downturn that affronts us, this is the type of groundbreaking job creation that we need here in this state, and there's no better place to have it than right here in Brooklyn. For Kings County, which is the state's largest municipality, unfortunately showcases one of the state's greatest problems with an 11.2% unemployment rate. As the buildings rise on Atlantic Yards, the joblessness rate will fall right here in Brooklyn. Already, $51 million in contracts have been awarded to contractors, and of that procurement, 80% of it will go to women and minority-owned businesses. Of the 65 contracts that have been awarded, 43% of them, of the 65 contracts to MWBE, 43% of them will go to companies that are located right here in Brooklyn. And that is part of the overall commitment that Forrest City Ratner has made to ensure that 30% of the contracts and at least 45% of the construction jobs will go to women and minorities. This could not have happened without New York State, so I want you all to know exactly where I'm coming from. When I came to executive service in 2007, the New York State Department of Economic Development estimated that women, who are 51.8% of the population and constituted 29.2% of the companies that pre-qualified to get contracts from New York State, received, in fact, 2.64% of the contracts. It gets worse. Asian Americans, 5% of those pre-approved got 1% of the contract. Hispanic Americans, 8.3% of the pre-approved companies. In other words, they had capital. They passed the test of having a business plan, and they were certified by the state of New York. 8.3%. In the end, Hispanics received 0.74 of that, 3/4 of 1% of the procurement. African Americans had the lowest numbers, receiving 0.66, or 2/3 of 1% of the contracts. We even assessed African American women. They got 0.13. I was a math major. I can't tell you what percentage that is of 1%, but we're going to find that woman and have a big party for her one night. So the reality is that we are not just giving out contracts to minorities and women. We are found a big project that will even the score for past lack of opportunity for no other reason that anyone can figure out other than the state didn't want to do it. And that's what we're doing in this project. Now, we have recognized that there was strong opposition that was based on merit, that was based on equity, and that was real for this project. And we respect that. But the economic development opportunities here are undeniable. This project will yield $1.5 billion in economic development for the state over the next 30 years, and we will have job creation, the likes of which Brooklyn has never seen. So to those who supported the project, and to those who opposed the project, I guarantee that we will be scrupulous in our monitoring of the contract that Forest City Radnor signed with the state to make sure that everything we were promised we receive. In addition to a school, there will be job training. There will also be a daycare, youth and senior facilities, and a healthcare facility to offer healthcare previously unavailable to people in this area. In addition, Forest City Radnor will engage in the development of housing, both rental and ownership, so that thousands of families can come together to thrive and revitalize this community. There will also be building of the Barclays Center Arena. Our administration has given weekly updates on construction, and we want to make sure that this project is transparent and efficient all the way through. And now I would like to say on a personal note that Borough President Markowitz was right. I was born in St. John's Hospital on Atlantic Avenue and grew up on Grand Avenue between Gates and Green. I was born, my parents moved me to Long Island. And at the same time, a basketball team that played 1 year in New Jersey, then went and played at Island Garden, then moved to Comac, Long Island, and then came to the Nassau Coliseum, who featured basketball stars like Tony Jackson, Bill Malchione, and Rick Barry, you knew Bill Malchione? Tony Jackson, all right. But that they were known as the Nets. And at that time, they signed a kid from my neighborhood of Hempstead that went to high school in Roosevelt and college at the University of Massachusetts, Julius Erving, who led the Nets to the '88 championship in 1974 and 1976. Later that year, the Nets ownership sold the contract of Julius Erving to the Philadelphia 76ers. It was one of the worst days of my life before I became governor. But I rooted for the Nets for over 30 years, watched Jason Kidd take them to the NBA championships in 2002 and 2003, hoping one day that somebody would find a way to get them back in New York. And that Borough President Marty Markowitz did is not just a testimony to a sports team coming back to Brooklyn. It is really the catalyst to the revitalization of Brooklyn, one of the world's greatest places. Thank you very much.